the winner by knockout victory, now a two-time world champion and the new WBO super featherweight champion of the world, Vasyl Lomachenko.
What's happening, fight fans, and welcome to The Fight Room. I am your host, Nice, and welcome. This is it, the main event, coming Saturday, December 9th, live on ESPN. Guillermo, the Chacal Rigondeaux versus Vasyl Lomachenko. Let's get into it. Both great fighters, both two-time gold medalists. Both only have a few pro records, but great amateur backgrounds. These guys are it. These are the two top contenders at the bantamweight in the featherweight division, and it is definitely going down. I've been waiting for this fight for a long time. Every boxing fan and critic and an analyzer and writers have been waiting for such a matchup, and it is taking place December 9th on ESPN. Now, Rigondeaux was a former fighter for Top Rank Bob Arum and was televised on HBO. After a few fights that landed Rigo 2 world titles, Rigo won his first title, the WBA title, by defeating Rico Ramos, a U.S. bantamweight ex-champion, January 20th, 2012. Then he won the WBO title by defeating none other than Nonito Donaire back April 13th, 2013. We remember what happened there. Dominating boxing lesson by Rigo. Donaire at the time was considered top 3 pound for pound, had won 3 different belts in 3 different weight classes at the time before Rigo, of course, stopped him from conquering, was demolishing great top lower weight class opposition. Quote me on that. Max Kellerman said that back in 2013 on a fight game with Jim Lampley, stating that Rigo was top 3 after dominating Nonito Donaire. Now, at that time, Lomachenko didn't have a fight yet, wasn't a professional yet. Would it have been different if Loma would have started, if, let's say, a year prior to Rigo Donaire? Speaking on, how Jim Lampley and Max Kellerman from HBO Sports Boxing put Rigo top 3 behind Floyd Mayweather and Andre Ward after defeating Donaire. Let's say Loma would have fought the same first 3 men he fought in his professional career, and let's say it would have been the same results, let's say, being that he lost to Orlando Salido and was in his second pro fight. Would it have made a difference? Looking back at HBO and, stating how they put Rigo top 3, at that time, if Loma was there and would have lost to Salido and Rigondeaux was dominating Donaire and opposition, where would they have Lomachenko ranked and Rigondeaux ranked? Being also that Rigondeaux was red hot, knocking dudes out after defeating Nonito Donaire with a spectacular boxing performance. He faced Joseph Agbeko, a fighter from Accra, Ghana, located in the northwestern part of Africa, defeating Agbeko by unanimous decision. It was televised on HBO by Top Rank and Bob Arum 6 months after the impressive Nonito win. There's another fighter that without a doubt has one of the best amateur records in history. None other than Vasyl Lomachenko, making his pro debut October 12, 2013 versus Jose Ramirez on HBO, brought to you by yours truly, Bob Arum and Top Rank. 2 months after that fight, Rigondeaux, who fought at Agbeko, HBO had dropped Rigondeaux. Jim Lampley also stating in his show that it was only one night brilliance of Guillermo Rigondeaux. One night. Also stating a by the way, saying fans booed, writers expressed their disapproval of Rigo's style, and even his promoter pointing out after Donaire fight that it was going to be difficult to make fights with Rigondeaux. Then asking Max Kellerman right after his statement, "Are you sure you want to make him the third best fighter in the world?" Max answered no. He made himself the best third pound-for-pound fighter in the world. So, hey, it's about that time. Let's see who's going to be number one pound-for-pound in their list coming December 9th. Because as we know, they have Vasyl Lomachenko number one. I can't knock that. I have no disputes about that. They have their own reasons why they have him number one. But if they do have him number one, and come Saturday night, whoever stands at the end of that bell will be considered, in their eyes, the number one pound-for-pound fighter in the world. I don't subject myself to their pound-for-pound list, neither do I care. But what I'm saying is, if that's how they see it, then come that night, the winner will be that number one. Also, Max Kellerman does the top 10 pound-for-pound list for HBO Sports. Just note that. But at this time, on this date, as of today, Max and HBO and Jim Lampley and even Roy Jones have Vasyl Lomachenko as the top number one pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Now, an interesting thing, HBO picked up Loma and slowly dropped Rigondeaux. You know, we heard that they were never found of his style, less punching during his fights, called him boring and stuff like that. But one thing I was thinking, like, hasn't Floyd ever been boring? A lot of his fights have been boring, and a lot of his fights that were boring were on HBO. But again, you know, bias and stuff like that. I'm not trying to get into all that. I like Floyd, definitely one of the best fighters ever, definitely the best of this era. But truth be told, some of his fights were boring, let's be honest. Moving on. So a lot of hate, unfairness towards Rigondeaux for quite a long time, and now is the time to prove the critics wrong. Lomachenko, the only fighter to get a chance for a world title in only his second pro fight versus Orlando Salido, which he lost by unanimous decision, and continue with Top Rank and Arum. His most notable wins, defeating Gary Russell Jr., which was a special fighter in his own right, and Vasyl Lomachenko just dominated that fight. And that was where I was first really impressed with Vasyl Lomachenko. I thought he was gonna stop Gary Russell Jr. before that fight ended. I thought it was gonna be a difficult fight for Loma, but not so. It was a great performance by Lomachenko, and that's where he caught my eye for the first time. Now, for the main event, at 130 pounds for the WBO featherweight title, Vasyl Lomachenko versus Guillermo Rigondeaux. Vasyl with 9 wins, 1 loss, and 7 by knockout. Guillermo with 17 wins, no losses, 11 by knockout. Guillermo coming from Cuba, and Loma coming from the Ukraine. Loma 5'6", Rigondeaux 5'4". Loma weighing at 130 pounds. He is the natural 130-pound fighter. Guillermo Rigondeaux's natural weight is 122. So we know he's in the bantamweight division, moving up 2 weight classes to fight this fight. My thoughts on that, I don't think it's going to be a problem for Rigondeaux. Because Rigondeaux, if you know, Rigondeaux likes to work out. He's a naturally fit bantamweight fighter. And I know that it is not a problem for him to come up a few weights and stay sharp and maintain that physique. Loma, his reach is 65 inches, and little to no, Rigondeaux has the more reach advantage with 68 inches. So let's see how that plays out. As far as I said before, Rigondeaux with a good distance, knows how to keep distance. Let's see how that plays out. You know this is for the WBO title, and Rigondeaux at the bantamweight with the WBA. Supposedly on the match cloth, They say that if Lomachenko loses this fight, that he would have to give up his WBA bantamweight title, which to me is absurd and even more disrespectful to the way they just treat Rigondeaux. And that's just the WBA organization mandating that. Vasyl Lomachenko's debut was October 12, 2013. Rigondeaux's was May 22nd, 2009. Now, the amateur record for these guys are incredible. This is where it goes down. This is why they're considered highly regarded fighters. Let's talk about Vasyl Lomachenko's amateur record. 396 wins with only 1 defeat, making it the best amateur record in amateur record history. And we can see that Rigondeaux has 463 amateur fights and 12 defeats. Not bad at all. Definitely high-ranking amateur. Definitely the greatest amateur fighter to come out of Cuba. High rank in amateur boxing. Vasyl winning 2 gold medals at the 2008 and the 2012 Olympics, capturing the gold medals for Ukraine. And we have Guillermo Rigondeaux winning the 2000 and the 2004 Olympic gold medals for Cuba. Outstanding amateur records and accomplishments for both fighters leading up to this fight. Now, the fighter attributes. Let's start with Vasyl Lomachenko with the speed. I give him a 5 stars on speed. I think he has great speed, pretty quick with his hands and all that. You know how he moves and uses his quickness to get in a few shots. I give Rigondeaux 4 stars. He is quite good with speed. He is pretty quick. Like I said before, people underestimate his quickness, but he is quick. I could have gave him a 4.5. I was debating, but I just gave him a 4. Now, in power, Lomachenko, I give him a 4. He has pretty good power, as you see how he knocked out Rocky Martinez. And overall, I give Rigondeaux a 5 in power, man. His power is pretty well grounded. He has pretty remarkable power, breaking people's jaws left and right, knocking dudes out with body shots, and even in sparring, we've heard that in sparring sessions, he's been knocking out his opponents. So I give him a 5 overall. Always thought he was a good power puncher, so I gave him a 5 on that. Chin overall, Lomachenko with a 4.5 stars. I think he has good chin. Knows how to take power. Let's see what happens with the power of Rigondeaux when come test that chin, because I gave him a 4.5 on that. I gave Rigondeaux a 4. We've seen him before, how he has gotten to the ground, has hit in the canvas, took shots from Nonito Donaire and the Japanese Asian opponent. I forgot his name, but he took Rigondeaux to the canvas one time. So overall, pretty good chin, but I think Lomachenko has better chin. Stamina, I give Lomachenko 4. I've seen him get tired, especially with the Mariaga fight, where he seemed just a little bit tired. I gave Rigondeaux a 5 in the stamina. I never seen this guy get tired. I don't know if you guys have. I understand that he throws less punches. They say he's inactive. He does uses the ring. He's a boxer. Overall, with his skills being set and his stamina, overall, he has great stamina. If he's standing in a 12-round fight after the 12th round and look like he didn't break a sweat, and notice that he moves around the ring and can be offensive if he wants to be offensive during the whole fight, and seems to be standing in the 12th round without a mark in his face, without breaking a sweat, you know that his stamina is great. Defense, I gave Lomachenko a 4. He has good defense. He knows how to move. He knows how to block some shots. He's pretty good at the defense. I give Rigondeaux a 5-star in the defense. We have seen how he can block punches, move around, and dodge punches. Pretty crisp, keep his distance away. I think overall he has probably the best defense in boxing, in my opinion. Lomachenko's offense, 5-star, great offense, remarkable, active, offensive fighter. Pretty good with the offense. Great actually with the offense. I gotta give him a 5 on that, hands down. Can't argue or dispute that. Maybe a 4.5 to some, but I gotta give him a 5 on that. Rigondeaux, give him a 4.5. I had to give him a 4.5, almost a 5. I know he is definitely the accurate fighter to me, but I gotta give him a 4.5. He winds up throwing the right hand, and sometimes when he throws the right hand, he throws it probably like 4 or 5 times and leaves himself open to get countered. But overall, his offense, great offense. He hits the target when he wants to hit the target. Like I said before, he throws to make sure he lands. He doesn't just throw to throw. So overall, his accuracy is phenomenal. I think his accuracy overall is better than Lomachenko's. Now fighters, I give both fighters a 5-star. Overall, both tremendous fighters. Gotta give them 5 stars apiece. Now, Rigondeaux to me is very sharp, very crisp, has a lot of power. He packs a lot of power in his punches. Great counter puncher, great defensive boxer, good accurate puncher overall. Throws to land, great skills all around, good footwork, keeps distance and great timing. Vasyl Lomachenko, great quick footwork. His offensive skills is great. Loves to land that right hand. He loves to throw it to the body, catch you off guard. Very aggressive, great hand skills and great angles. Packs a good punch, a very active boxer. Overall, I see this to be a great matchup come Saturday night, December 9th, live on ESPN. Make sure you guys catch this fight. It is gonna be a great fight. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share. Till then, it is your boy O Nice from the Fight Room. Peace.